Hey everybody, welcome to Surface Level, a show that takes a look at society's expectations and rejects the ones we don't see it for. All from the perspective of three black queer best friends. I'm one of your hosts, Jordan, and today, Tony, Damon, and I are discussing queer representation in hip-hop. What do we think about heterosexual male rappers capitalizing from queer culture? Does the emphasis on sexuality detract from the art that the queer artist creates? This is Beatz, Boyz, and Barz. Beatz, Boyz, and Barz. Okay. So,
that's my topic, y'all.
I had a lot of fun coming up with these games. I hope you guys really enjoyed them. So,
okay, this is your rap debut?
Are you going to freestyle?
I don't think the podcast is actually ready for it. So
you might be right.
All right. All right. So we're in an alternate universe. Okay.
Okay.
And you two are rappers.
Uh-huh.
And you're preparing your debut single. And you can only pick one queer female rapper to feature. Do you pick Sid or Chica?
Ain't no features gonna be in my debut single, child.
What?
That's
Beyonce?
it. No, there are no features. My
Nope.
debut single is
debut.
me.
You have to pick one.
Sid.
Sid.
I picked Chica. I really enjoy her.
I like her new EP that just came out. I always felt like Chica was somebody I'd really enjoy, but I'd never investigated her a lot. Her new thing was really good, but I'm just more familiar with Sid.
So much fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What about you, Jordan?
Sid.
Okay.
So, what reason would most likely cause you to enter into a rap beef? There's three options.
What was the reason?
There's three options. You pick the one that's most likely to be the reason why you would get into a rap beef. An artist being a no call, no show to your recording session. A member from an artist's entourage snatching your chain. Or an artist claiming that you don't write your own raps.
Somebody being a no-show. Don't waste my time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm always on. Y'all know how I feel about time. I don't like that.
Okay.
That might be it for me too, because I feel like nowadays I could care less what the girls think about if I'm writing my own or if someone else is writing it. Because guess what?
The check's still clear.
Ooh, you know what? Okay, so you guys are both very Nas and Jay-Z. That's why they started beefing.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nas didn't show up to the Reasonable Doubt recording session.
The gag was when he didn't come to the studio.
Well, that's what the girl said on the blogs.
Okay. What about you, Jordan?
I think writing my own raps.
I think I might know, but
writing my own raps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Push that pen. And
that's a Meek Mill and Drake diss. Or beef. That's how that started.
Yes, come on, give the historical context.
All right, more history. In 1989, hip-hop gained its very first Grammy recognition with the Best Rap Performance category. Mm-hmm. Who won the first rap Grammy? Was it DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince for Parents Just Don't Understand, JJ Fad for Supersonic, Kool Mo D for Wild Wild West, LL Cool J for Going Back to Cali, or Salt and Pepper for Push It? These were all nominees.
You can go back to Cali, a Tupac song? Oh, no, a Biggie song?
Wait, who's the winner?
I think the winner was Fresh Prince and Jesus.
That might be it, but I for some reason in my head I had it that LL Cool J won the first rap Grammy, but that song Going Back to Cali is a Tupac song. So
it's a child.
I mean, like a Biggie song. Yes, it's a Biggie song. Going Back to Cali.
The girls don't know.
I watched the documentary. And it said that
you watched the video.
I watched the video on the documentary.
What's the answer?
It's DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
I
just don't understand. Okay. Last question.
Okay.
Which heterosexual rapper pulls off feminine attire better, Kanye West or Andre 3000?
Andre 3000.
That was very quick.
That wasn't even a question. That was like a statement. It's like a fact.
Oh,
The
okay.
end. I don't care what anybody else to say.
Yeah.
Well,
moving into the conversation.
Damon spoke for both of us. So
Oh,
I'm gonna just turn my fucking mic off.
okay. Well, I thought Kanye West. So
when you terrible fashion. Fashion show, no fashion.
You're entitled to your own opinions, but not your own facts.
No, baby, that's
what's
fact.
What's the next question for us?
Are you done?
I am done. Are
you finished or are you done?
You know what?
All right.
Wrong road.
So moving into conversations about hip hop and how it relates to queer people, there still, ironically, is a huge presence of homophobia, specifically in a lot of rap lyrics, still in 2021. Like a lot of things, we've come to a place where you won't say or do, et cetera, in mainstream. But for some reason, like throwing faggot in the song, still fine. Well, for non-queer people, throwing faggot in the song, still fine. What do we think kind of leads to that? Jordan, maybe we start with you.
I don't recall a time where hip hop didn't have a bunch of homophobia and misogyny. I think I'm probably just desensitized to it. I also don't think that I am so quick to cancel an artist who says something homophobic, which is strange because I feel like other genres, I feel like there's maybe a little bit more scrutiny around it, maybe not. But I don't know. Hip hop is weird. It's kind of like stand-up comedy, where I feel like it gets this pass for just saying whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. And sort of just, the rationale is sort of like, well, that's the culture. You just say what you want to say. And I don't know. I don't know why there isn't like a huge urgency for like radical change, but it's probably because I'm kind of complicit in it, and I feel like a lot of my peers are too. Mm-hmm. Like I still will listen to songs that have faggot in it, and like really like dance.
Yes, pop, lock, and drop, baby.
Well, not all the way down to the ground, Tony.
Because the girls are old.
A partial pop, lock, and drop. How sad.
Knees start cracking.
TikTok, from the waist up.
TikTok is they owe Britney Spears a lot of money because she's a she do them hands, baby.
Yeah, she started TikTok.
The founder.
She's on the board. Tony.
But so when it pertains to homophobia and why there's still a presence in 2021 in the hip hop community, I think that to this day, being gay is looked at as a disability, and there's always been like it's always been a space that's had zero tolerance for being queer, and because like society said being homosexual is wrong, but even as society's gotten more progressive, I still feel that hip hop has held on to that. So like if you're a straight man, you fear being associated with queerness because you think that it'll hurt your career, or you might be deemed soft or less masculine. Mm-hmm. So I think that has a lot to do with why even the ones who are queer friendly behind the scenes aren't queer friendly on the main stage, to their audience of people.
And I think a lot of it is around how hip hop is built. Like it's built out of poor people in Black and brown communities making something out of nothing and creating an art form that's basically about bragging, and being the strongest or the most masculine or having the most of money or whatever it may be. And when you create environments like that, like you shit on people that you deem as less than or softer than, or that you feel like you are stronger than. And I think that still continues, because in the same way that when the hip hop was created, there were these communities of Black and brown poor people trying to just make something of themselves. Those same communities still exist. Yep. And we're still having the same conversation. And yes, some things have changed in the last 30 or so years, but it's still existing. And I think the negativity that breeds that is still there.
Yeah, 100%.
But there are some signs, and Jordan hinted at it in one of the questions in the game, about hip hop artists kind of bending gender norms with their fashion and glam. Like, what do we think about artists like, was it Young Thug that was on the cover with that lavender ruffle dress?
Was that Kid Cudi? Who was that?
No, last week on SNL he had. He was doing a tribute to Kurt Cobain.
Yeah. So they're wearing dresses and whatnot now. Yeah.
Jordan, you don't look happy about it.
No, I don't really rock with the Young Thug thing, just because he had homophobic lyrics in his raps like earlier in his career. It's just so like, I think in terms of like, I appreciate people using their big platform to do things that create a more inclusive environment. I think that Bad Bunny is an artist that I feel like, he does a lot of gender bending things, but he also will use his platform to stand up for trans violence.
Mm-hmm.
Young Thug wore this gown in this album cover, and he still used fag in his rap, and it just feels like sometimes I can't really understand whether or not artists are doing this because they want the headlines and they want the press. A lot of times when you see
is it performative, right?
A lot of these dresses, they always come out right before a single drops, or right as a single is dropping, or right before a project drops.
And somebody's sitting there like, you know what? What's a good idea? What you need to do?
Well, you know what happened to Harry Styles.
Throw on this dress.
So I don't know. It's it's a double-edged sword. I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh, this is great because I feel like it creates a conversation, even with the negative backlash. It creates a conversation within the community about dismantling gender norms and things like that. But on the other hand, I'm just like, what was your intention?
Right.
Yeah.
What was the reason? You never really know.
Right.
I think, it's really, it purely goes down to it's about authenticity for me. I fuck with it. If it's you, it's you. If it's a publicity stunt, leave me out of it.
I think it's actually dope to see the bending of gender norms be normalized. Because it slowly helps shift the views when straight male fans see their favorite rap artist expressing themselves in an alternative way, showing that alternative side of themselves. I think it kind of shifts the narrative, but I do think there's a mixed bag. There are people who are receptive to it and love it and think it's dope, and then there are people who are like, what the hell are they doing? And it turns their fans off. But what I don't like is when the straight male rapper gets all the praise for putting on a fucking dress, because there are a lot of queer artists who just get overlooked, and they're doing the same shit, and they are just as, if not more, talented. So yeah.
So then moving into our community, and we try in these conversations to not only assess the things that are happening outside, but also the things that we do. So a lot of queer men, gay men, love a female rapper. Child, the barbs go up.
If it's up, then it's stuck.
The Barty gang. the girls love Big Lotto. I won't call her by her,
Who's
right?
that?
Big Lotto?
Big Lotto is her name.
I thought she had a different name.
No, that's her name. Sawate, or Saweetie, as Tracy Ellis Ross called that girl. She said, I thought her name was Sawate.
You know what?
She came out with
God bless Tracy Ellis Ross.
That Pretty Girl mixtape. I said, lean into it, baby. But anyway, people in our community love female rappers, but we don't necessarily put all the energy into finding, supporting, cultivating, throwing our money and our energy behind queer rappers in our own community. What do we think about that? Thoughts, Jordan?
I
didn't know I told a joke.
What's funny? I'm like, what's funny?
No, I'm just laughing about my answer because I feel like, the listeners don't know this, but we talk about this here this conversation comes up every couple of months. But I think that for me, I didn't see a bunch of queer male artists or rappers when I was just starting to appreciate rap music. Not with a large platform. And for me, when I was looking at rap, I immediately gravitated to female rappers because I felt like I could relate more to the lyrical content naturally.
Now I'm laughing because you're like, that's me.
That's me.
I'm her.
Exactly. The one with the 60-inch weave. No, I'm just kidding. But
she's
seriously. But yeah, so that's what I gravitated towards. And I think that when you fast forward to today, the way that I consume music is it's 100% pleasure. I look at music as a entertainment source and an enjoyment source. And when I hear songs that I like, I'll play songs that I like. I don't proactively go out of my way to seek out artists. That for me becomes a chore. So for me, I'm a pop girl, and that's not to say not rap, you know what I mean, popular. like people that have like the music videos, the documentary, all these things that music labels put together so that they can create fandom. I'm essentially that consumer that falls into that bucket. And so I haven't really done the extra work take it like that it requires to discover or to seek out the artist who maybe doesn't have this big machine behind them.
Right.
So I guess that's why I more so gravitate to female rappers, because I think that out of the rap pool that are, you know, given the opportunity to have a big platform, female rap is where I feel like I enjoy the most.
Yeah. So you talked about it being 100% like pleasure. So for me, all I could think about, I was like, it's the hedonism for me. But I truly think exactly what you said, Jordan, is it's due to a lack of homework, right? It's a lack of knowing that queer male rappers exist and they're out here killing it. And so the onus is on us to do that research. Female rappers are more likely to get a certain level of mainstream. They're more likely to reach that level in which you discover them because of media and entertainment, and not necessarily having to go do the work and find them like we do with queer male rap artists. So laziness is what I suppose you could say is the reason that we may not know a lot about the queer male rappers out there. And I think that, you know, we should probably do more work to seek them out. And I know Damon is a big proponent of seeking out the art, so I'm going to let him give his answer on this.
No, we did an episode in the first season of the podcast about cancel culture and like artists that like do crazy shit that people still listen to. And one of the things that I always talk about is I think that oftentimes people are lazy in their consumption of art. I've told this story before, I think, but one of the first people I dated was like, when I was living in Boston centuries ago, and he was showing me moons ago, tale as old as time. But he was showing me, I don't know, maybe it was Noah's Ark or something. And I remember I was like 21 or 22, and I was like, I didn't even know that things like this existed that reflected me in this way.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, honestly, whenever there is something I'm looking for, I'm searching, because if I don't do it and we don't support it in whatever way we can, people won't make it. Our stories won't be told. People won't get the shine that they likely deserve. And for me, it's always about looking for it, finding it. I think yes, it's annoying, it's laborsome sometimes, right, but like that's part of what I deem my responsibility as a queer person, as a Black queer person who wants to like speak on a platform and like talk about our community. It's my job, I think, to explore it actively and to support other people that are in the same way that we are, trying to create a platform to express themselves.
Right. And I like to think that if queer people knew and were more aware of the existence of queer rap artists, like they would support them. I like to think that, but maybe not.
We'll find
see.
out, baby.
We'll find out today.
And then finally, do we think that the mainstream people that have bubbled up recently with the success of like Lil Nas X, Tyler the Creator, so on, do we think that is in any way a reflection of America's acceptance of queer artists being mainstream within the rap community? Tony?
I can't say that it's reflective of America's acceptance. I think that those types of artists, like the Lil Nas X's of the world, they've grown in popularity, but also because they're polarizing in many ways. And I think that has helped propel them to the top. So their success is, and to me, in no way a reflection of the larger America. I think when there's an artist that queer people get behind, we get behind them and we really support them. And I think that's what's happened with Lil Nas X. Yeah, there's a little like crossover mainstream part of it, but you know, I don't think that that's all of it. So I think that I might be complete on that. I think I might be complete.
I'm done, Jordan.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing that they would still be able to achieve the level of success after being open if they did not have a more mainstream success.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if they were artists that stayed within the urban genre, I think they would have a much more difficult time. Because I was even just looking at like the reactions to Lil Nas X like coming out. We talked about Young Thug, who he didn't say anything crazy, but it was more so like, I don't think that he should have came out. Like that was his feedback, which was triggering because I had a family member who told me that I shouldn't have came out. And I'm just like, why would you say that?
That's the oppression for me.
That's so crazy to me.
Oh my God.
I'm happy. Why are you not happy?
Right.
I'm happy.
Why would you say that? That's so crazy to me. Now I'm crying.
I can't. I can't. No,
And-
not crying.
And then
She cries a lot.
And then I do. And then, there was the Kevin Hart thing
Yeah.
of him having a conversation with Lil Nas X and just being like, so what? Who cares that you're gay? But like whole time has like a bit in his like stand-up show talking about his biggest fear is his son being gay. It's
Isn't that
just
something.
it's like
Ain't that about a bitch?
it's like fake progress. I don't know. Like it just
Yeah.
And Pastor Troy, it's just like he
Who the hell is that?
I don't know.
I know who he is.
But I found out
How you
after
know
a
who
little.
Pastor Troy is?
Oh,
Well, I
I
found
don't
out.
know,
I
I don't know.
I found out after Lil Nas X. It was like Pastor Troy said some riveting things. I said, "Who the hell is that?"
And
then I looked it up.
I don't be keeping up with all.
But I
the-
still don't know. But I found out that he was talking shit.
Well, child, I'm glad I didn't get to see it.
He said he was just like my son. He said, what did he say? He said, "Oh, this is what I have to do to win a Grammy." I think it was when Lil Nas X wore his hot pink
Oh man.
harness, like cowboy
What?
leather moment.
That was a fun look.
I thought it was fun too, but Pastor Troy was not into it, and I don't know. I think that their ability to be open and to still achieve mainstream success is, I think that it's because of the other audiences pushing them forward. I think that the hip hop industry is still very homophobic, and I think that even if they say neutral things, it's just so that sometimes I feel like it's to be politically on the right side of history.
Yeah, I think when you can point to the first or the one, the answer is typically no. It's like Halle Berry won her Oscar. We still sitting here 20 years later. Just Halle Berry and her Oscar.
That was 20 years ago?
It was like 18 years ago. Yeah, it's
my
been
God.
a very long time now.
Why would we be so old?
Who old? You.
I thought
you,
I was
just
actually talking about you and Tony.
Just you, baby.
Girl.
Um,
Well, I can tell you the youngest because you act the youngest.
All right.
There you
Well,
go.
see, here we're revving up. This is what I talked about before we hit record.
But I also think there's like a flaw in the question, just because I think we really need to reevaluate what success looks like and not evaluate it by how people outside of a community or people that are not part of a thing are looking at it. I think if an artist is telling their story, they're doing it honestly, they're doing it truthfully, they're doing it in a way that brings them joy, then I think if you're truly about creating art,
Right.
then like you are just as fucking happy. You want to check, absolutely. Pay me what you owe me.
Yeah.
But I do think that we need to stop making the gaze of mainstream and pop culture be the only metric by which we view success, specifically for queer Black artists, etc.
It's almost like putting heteronormative,
Hello?
norms
It's the same
on
thing.
queer
It's just like
relationships.
if you don't chart on Billboard, then you're not a great artist,
Yeah.
or you're not happy with your career. You shouldn't be happy with your work. No.
Right.
So at that point, we're gonna stop fumbling through hip hop history and culture points, and we're gonna bring in somebody that actually knows what the fuck they're talking about.
So we are thrilled today. We have someone with us that a lot of you are going to know. You're going to recognize his voice. You're going to know his work. And Damon, Jordan, and I are just ecstatic. Like, we've been talking about this. We've been getting our lives, and we were so excited to come to the studio today. So Cakes Da Killa is a leading figure of the queer hip-hop explosion of 2011. His witty flow and unapologetic delivery helped push the acceptance of openly gay artists in hip-hop. He continues to pave the way, promoting Black excellence as well as LGBTQ plus visibility in media. Mixing 90s grit with high-energy club beats, Cakes unique persona quickly cemented him as one of the most dynamic lyricists to ever hit the airwaves. So today, we welcome Cakes Da Killa to our surface level family.
I wrote the shit out of that bio. Ooh.
And I read it with some fervor.
Yeah.
Hello?
And she's old, bitch. Came out 2011, honey. Ooh.
Yes.
All right.
Get your
Thank
life.
you for having me.
Thank
Thank
you
you for being here. Oh my
Thanks
goodness.
for putting
I
up with
was
us.
on pause for that conversation. There were times I really wanted to jump in. But I kept it really cute.
And
Thank
that's
God
why
I'm sober.
We let you listen in, bring up whatever you want
Yeah,
to.
because y'all was playing.
Okay.
Y'all was playing.
I'm scared now. Hold on.
You in the hot seat now.
You in the hot. Enjoy it. All right. So before we jump into all the Q&A, we like to do a game of this or that, just to get to know
break the
you,
ice.
to break the ice, to get you.
Well, I'm a
Get to
Libra.
know you.
Okay.
Are you?
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
October the 12th.
I'm September 24th.
Yeah, because
Don't matter.
September Libras are
Oh, and you could tell.
I knew I smelled something going on.
Uh-uh.
See?
But let's get to the this
See?
or that.
She's hosting the show now,
You
baby.
know what?
This or that.
I didn't think that you was going to join in on the attack.
Listen.
All right. Beach vacation or city vacation?
City vacation.
A lifetime of monogamy or a lifetime of polygamy?
Oh, a lifetime of monogamy. I cannot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Y'all queers are too progressive for me. I'm old school.
Same.
Yeah.
House party or nightclub?
Nightclub.
Yes.
Both.
Both of them.
I'm sober. Whatever's open first.
Okay. The house party.
Okay, work.
The Harlem Shake or the Wu-Tang?
The Harlem Shake.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
But you're from New Jersey.
Jordan is
I know,
a professional
but,
Wu-Tanger.
Shout out to Harlem. She's
Shout
a
out to
Harlem.
Harlem.
She's a Harlem uptown girl sometimes.
I'm
The
She don't
Wu-Tang
fuck
is
with
really
the September
intensive when
Libras.
you get into the Wu-Tang, though. It's very,
Oh
like,
my God.
Yeah. You have to
The
like,
Harlem
really-
Shake is more cunt, though. Like, you could cunt it out.
Right.
I mean, you could do that with the Wu-Tang too.
No. Stop
You
trying to sell
can't-
it.
You can't make the Wu-Tang feminine. There's nothing feminine about the
Girls
Wu-Tang.
You're right. You can't.
It's very that.
See, I thought they was going to be able to have a New Jersey moment just
Okay,
now.
sorry.
but
No,
it's
I'm
all
like
right.
the most un-New Jersey person.
You know what? And you're the most Libra person. So we're on a roll.
I'm just sober now.
Yes.
Delete Instagram or create an OnlyFans.
That's a good one.
What's the mood lighting giving? I'm like,
What's the mood lighting?
Fluorescent.
wait, so I have to delete my Instagram or create an OnlyFans?
Yeah. What
Which
would
one are you doing?
Which one are you doing?
I have to create an OnlyFans, and I can't not have Instagram. I can't not have Instagram.
Would
Okay,
you?
well, another stream of
You
income.
can be on OnlyFans doing BTS of making your music
It's
video.
very much.
Cardi-
It's very
that's
much
what Cardi B's
reviewing.
OnlyFans is.
It's very much reviewing content.
Right.
Right. They be
know
on
what?
Cardi B's big
You
band
see?
busting out the band.
We don't-
Baka.
we don't want studio behind the scene. You know what?
What do y'all want? That's the problem with y'all.
We want more.
Too much.
Would you rather only be able to whisper or only be able to shout?
Oh my God. You walking in shouting everything you got to say. I can't deal with it.
I am already loud. I think if I could whisper, that would be cute. I think people would like live for that, like a Janet, like rebranding. Like,
Yes.
that would be really like.
Well,
Hi, like,
what is it? ASMR?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
very
yeah.
trendy too. You know,
Those are
Yeah.
always so
That
do a
would
little
be a
sleep
good-
sound.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that you have a love for theatrical performance styles.
Of course, doesn't everybody?
I live for it.
So- yes.
Give me drama.
The
Love-
homosexuals.
Love
Well,
theater.
the ones with taste.
Yes.
Exactly. So if you could only consume one artist for the rest of your life, would it be Missy Elliott or Busta Rhymes?
Oh my God, that's a hard one.
I know.
She's very proud of that
She said,
question.
I've been tearing these questions
very
up.
proud of it.
She was pushing her pin on these questions.
Like
Jordan got
forever?
flowers for himself.
I don't know.
Waiting.
That's hard. I think it depends on the mood. But right now my gut is telling me Busta because Busta just dropped that new song
with Mariah Carey,
that's
where they sampled.
kind of got
I didn't hear
They
it.
sampled their old
Busta Rhymes-
song.
They
There's a
sampled.
video.
Yes.
Word.
They
Yeah,
made a
Mimi looks
continuation.
gorgeous in it.
She had that little
Pulls.
liquid leather
Yeah,
number
snatch.
one.
You.
Granny
50 and
is
fat.
back.
They tipped her out there.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the sample?
It's the sample of "Baby, If You Give It to Me."
Yeah, they
it's
Oh.
they
They
sampled
flipped
their
it.
song
Yeah.
for their new song.
And it's like
Oh, I love
it's
that.
the continuation of the
video.
music video. So
Word.
I'm taking his word.
Yes.
Everything.
Yeah. So
No,
I'm gonna say Busta.
I literally watched
Love
it before we
Missy.
came here.
All right. So, would you rather live in a world where there is no crime or no privacy?
What?
No crime or no privacy. Oh my goodness.
These are meant to be.
Wait, what?
Show
So the
purpose.
world would have no privacy, or do I want no crime?
Yeah.
No crime with privacy, or privacy with no crime? What? How does this work? Whichever one makes the most sense. That's what I'm going with. I'm like, I did not come here to do critical thinking, y'all. I'm like,
I
what?
think no privacy.
No
I
privacy.
mean, no crime.
No crime
Wait,
with
no privacy. Wait, shit.
Now
It don't make no sense.
I'm a move on. That really fucked y'all up.
Yeah.
Would you rather? Oh wait, no. Okay. I read that already. Would you rather be able to see 10 minutes into your future or 10 minutes into the future of someone else?
My own. I don't give a. Yeah, my own.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with
Very
that.
That's So Raven.
You can see into the future.
Yeah.
All right. And so what we like to do with all of our guests is share what our love languages are. So if you had to pick one of the 5, what is your love language? Words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, or acts of service?
Cash App, Venmo,
Yes.
PayPal.
Receiving
No,
gifts.
no. I mean, physical touch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then the last thing, what are you curious about?
That last question you asked about privacy and and police brutality, that was just that was intense.
I will not let you put that on me. Not police brutality in this climate.
That's interesting.
I was like, what was, I'm curious
Oh
about
my
that. I'm gonna play that one back.
Yeah.
Me too.
So,
I'm about to write that one down and journal about it.
let's get on into it. Let's get into some things because I'm actually going to start here. So Cakes,
Yes.
I'm really curious to know about how your stage name manifested.
Okay.
Like, where did that come from?
Well, I named myself because I didn't think that I would be 11 years into the future doing podcast interviews about that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really thinking long term. Maybe I should have had a 10-minute That's So Raven moment and I would have known better. But no, I decided I wanted to go with something really sweet because I wanted to beat gay homophobic people to the punch. So I was like, what's the sweetest thing I could be? And I was like, oh, I should just call myself Cakes. Like, that'll be really funny. And I'm like, you got a big butt anyway. So it'll be like a play on that. And you'll be like Cakes Da Killa. Like, you know, it'll be like that. I wasn't really thinking. I've wanted to change my name so many times.
Oh, I
mean,
didn't interpret it that way.
Well, there you go. How did you interpret it?
I
There.
interpreted it as
Let's see what lie you tell.
Say it with your chest.
Should I move on, or do you want to answer the
This
question?
is yeah. Let's
let's move
pan.
on.
Let's
What
pan.
what if you thought to change it to?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Right.
I specifically said we.
So Cakes, our initial angle for this conversation was to cover hip hop and its relationship to
Right.
homophobia, but you've been there, done that, right?
And I definitely put that in the shredder.
yes, in the
On
shredder,
Vlad,
in
Hot
the shredder.
97.
And you've addressed it over the years. So we'd like you to share your thoughts around the fixation on sexuality,
Right.
and how it's dangerous because it detracts from the art, from conversations about the art.
Well, I think it just depends. I think talking about those themes are important because of visibility and those type of like punchy words that people like to use nowadays. So it is important to have those conversations. But I do think when you have queer artists who are independent and they're coming up to platforms speaking, I think it does kind of eclipse the art and eclipse like what I'm actually working on, because while it is great that I can be visible in all these other spaces, it's like people know I'm gay, child. And I'm like, I mean, like, I don't have the privilege to be stealth or be in the closet. So it's kind of like, if I have to have these conversations when I'm maneuvering in straight spaces,
Yeah.
when I'm amongst family, it's like, girl,
Right.
let's just have a cocktail and talk about the new single. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah.
I live. So speaking of, I mean, your previous EPs, Hedonism and Motherland, which we love, they lead into your role as a provocateur, if you will. And you're currently working on Motherland Volume 2, which is really exciting. So we want to hear about what kind of themes should we expect this go around.
For me, I kind of shook in like the role of me being a gay hip hop artist. I think much earlier in my career, because I use rap as a medium, a lot of pressures were put on me to kind of conform to certain things. You know, I've been making music for over a decade. So when I came out, it was a different landscape for artists. So I was expected to go on Hot 97 and present a certain type of format and, you know, follow certain type of rules that kids nowadays don't have to follow anymore. And after I did the stint on the reality show Rhythm and Flow, it kind of opened my eyes to make me realize that it wasn't fun anymore, and I was trying to play by like the media games of what I thought people wanted me to be, opposed to just doing what I wanted to do. So what you will hear in the new EP is kind of what you heard in the last one. It's just me not giving a fuck and having fun, kind of going back to making music like I used to in my dorm room when I was just talking about sucking dick and failing midterms. Okay? The things that matter in life.
I know that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, you know.
And since you went there,
Reel it in.
since you went there,
Oh gosh.
no, because I'm a storyteller and I love listening and hearing other people's stories.
Right.
And I already did some research on you, so I know that you happened upon this profession, being a rapper. It was a fluke. It was not, you know,
A complete joke.
yeah. And so just quickly, because I didn't want to go there, but I think it's important for people to hear like how that happened for you.
Well, the story is not that crazy. It was just at one point I would just upload videos of me rapping in my dorm room to YouTube, and a guy that was running a label at the time named Sticks saw the videos and he was like, "You should be on this compilation." And I was like, "Okay, I guess, girl, you can get me to New York, you know, I'll do anything to be in the city and turn it up." And ever since then, it kind of just became a thing, and it didn't become a career until I started getting paid to, like, you know, perform at shows and, you know, curating nights in New York. And it's kind of been my career. I didn't have to get a real job until like the pandemic started, girl. I was kind of gagging, no shade, getting a job.
Oh my God.
They was looking at the resume like, "Have you been incarcerated?" And I'm like, "No, I'm Cakes Da Killa." So it's been really good for me. And I think that goes back to the point of what you guys were talking about mainstreams and what's success and da-da-da-da. Like, for me, being a mainstream artist was never on my mood board because it was never a possibility. Like, even to be an openly gay, effeminate artist, that wasn't anything that I ever thought I would be paid for. So, you know, when I was being able to book shows overseas and, you know, fly my mom out to Tokyo, I was just like, bitch, that was it. You know, it was the glass ceiling for me. So I'm really thankful to actually live in a time where we see actually gay black artists getting Grammys, even though, do we care about the Grammys? That's the contradiction. But anyway, it's just fun, everybody out here doing what they're doing.
Right.
I'm rooting for everybody black and gay.
Right. Right. And do we care about the Grammys? No. Not.
But
no.
then we do, though, because that's how you guys wage on what's mainstream and what's successful.
I don't wage it that
I mean,
way.
that's what you were talking about earlier, like the mainstream success, pop.
Yeah.
Why you
Pop. You know, we like popular
it's
music.
not about. It's not for
Oh,
me.
it's
You
not
know
it's not the Grammys for me. I
she's
get free
right.
Grammys, baby.
Yeah, but no. So Cakes,
Yes.
you actually you do work that's not just rooted in hip hop. You do some things outside of the hip hop world.
Yeah.
And so specifically with your short film that you recently wrapped and your upcoming poetry collection.
Yeah.
Could you give us like a little bit about what inspired some of that work?
She's an older homosexual. Like, I'm not gonna be able to be on stage sweating and hooting and hollering. Like, I just became sober. Gotta watch my liver, watch my bladder. You know, it's things. You know, she's 30 now. So, and also it just got to the point where I kind of became comfortable in my career, and I wasn't, you know, my mood board wasn't changing. Like, I've done everything I wanted to do. My biggest thing was being able to not work a job and be able to travel. And once I was caught in the gears of doing that, it was like life was like, you're being too complacent. You need to change up. So now I'm just trying to work different sides of my brain. So, you know, I wrote my short film that I filmed recently, and getting back to writing more poetry on my Elin Harris, you know, mistake, giving it back. All the girls are dropping their books. I'm like, shit, let me drop mine. Bitch, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just me and I think black artists, we need to tap into different mediums and let our voices be heard and shown. And yeah, because the more the merrier, if it's of quality.
Right. If
Quality.
It's quality.
Don't
Yeah.
just slap no book together and
honey,
print it out at
please
your house.
don't. And please get an editor, girl.
Immediately.
Now y'all know
Immediately.
how
Now.
I feel about a certain black queer book that I
Immediately.
read.
Okay, but we're not going to do all that.
I'm not gonna say who it was.
We're not going to do all
I'm
that.
Just saying, editing is important.
Yes.
The girls are giving typos.
Listen, it's like if you put something out there, that should be your baby. You should live and breathe that, and it should not.
arrive with a whole bunch
They
of...
thinking they don't care. The girls don't read the book anyway. They just read the back and the front. And the girls just buy the books to make sure that when the grinder they come over, they look educated. But they not reading these books.
The gag is when the girls read the book and read you for filth because you had no editor.
Yeah, girl. It's supposed to be 1 comma at a time. But yeah, shout out to all those girls for making a way.
Yes, absolutely. But
Yeah.
so, in speaking about your short film, though, we want to talk about the title of it because it's very interesting. Visibility sucks.
Right.
What sort of experiences led to you giving it that title?
Yeah.
I didn't know how to interpret it, but that's how art is. It's we interpret it how we interpret it, but I don't hear from you.
And I'm one of those artists. I'm going to tell you because I'm not going to let you deliberate. Cause that's just not.
Don't be
I'm not
misconstruing
going.
my
Yeah,
art.
please don't. Because I'm gonna tell you. As you said, in my glamorous bio, I came out with music in 2011. The landscape of music was way different. I came out with a slew of other rappers like Mickey Blanco, Leave, and for us, the main thing was about visibility. You guys need to be visible, be as visible as you can be. So we were maneuvering in all these different avenues, just being black girls, getting coin, spreading the gospel, as you will.
Yes.
After a while, you begin to realize, with the rise of...
Wait, hold on. I didn't want to interrupt you, but that's an album title, The Cunt Gospel. No, go ahead. Keep
I'll
going.
charge you. The bill is in the mail. Anyway, so after a while, with the rise of social media, we tend to see these people who are so visible that that's all people want. They just want to be seen, and it's no money involved. It's like you have, 100,000 followers, but it's like, what are you booking? Like, what are you doing? And also, like, what are you pushing? So it got to the point where I realized, from me having to get a real job, I'm like, all that visibility,
Right.
this shit don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what it's about.
Damn.
It's deeper than rap.
And that's a full gag moment. Like, and because you went there, just quickly touch on that for you, like that struggle of COVID happening.
Well, it was a
and-
testament. Let's not call it a struggle. How we
te-
rebuke
Come
that.
on,
Rebuke that.
somebody.
I'm gonna
Hold on,
rebuke that.
honey. She got her unemployment, honey. Hold on, we gotta rebuke that in the name.
Look, I want
Make sure everybody file on Sunday, honey.
Can you quickly touch on the testimony? I want you to testify
Okay.
really quickly, just about what that's been like.
It's the gag of being able to go to Chicago and do a show for 30 minutes and get $5,000 to look at your bank account and be like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
Damn.
and to look at your booking schedules and it's like, what are you going to do? And it's a very real thing. I think even bigger than just me as an artist, like nightlife in general. It's the bartenders, it's the security guards, it's the restaurant owners.
Right.
Like, COVID was a very fierce thing to deal with. And I think that it made a lot of people really reevaluate what the fuck is going on. So yeah, but for me, I didn't let it defeat me. Like, I kind of just got my head on straight, did what I got to do to pay my rent, because I like expensive fucking cheese from Trader Joe's, and I like being able to buy my Glossier every once in a while. So you do what you got to do and you still make your art. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing that. Because,
No problem. I'm just being real transparent about my situation.
Child, the girls are figuring. I got laid off. I was just like, I spent 6 months. Like, we gonna figure this shit out.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna still live in my house. We gonna pay these bills.
The
and we
cream
gonna
rises to the top, baby.
Hello?
Right. That's the thing. We will overcome. But speaking of doing shows and being able to fly here and there and everywhere and get a coin and come on back, and you spoke about Tokyo and stuff like that, you have some upcoming shows in Europe, and we know that European audiences are known for being a little bit more open-minded to non-traditional black artists. So when you think about people like Josephine Baker and Tina Turner,
And hold on, and I read this in the paper, and this is what was triggering me.
what's triggering you?
How could you define Tina Turner and Josephine Baker as non-traditional black artists?
Tina Turner's a rock artist. I think that when two
Ain't
people-
rock black?
that rock is black, and you think about the founding principles of it, but you can say that about most parts of music. But when you think about the time in which she, I would say, became mainstream. At that point,
Yeah,
in
she was
the
an
history
old
of
bitch. You talking about old bitches? That
She's
bitch was
a
old, but
40-year-old black woman who wanted to sing rock and roll.
But
in
does
the
that
80s.
make what Tina Turner does less black, or is that just...
No, I'm saying she's non-traditional in the sense that, and in the way Americans view artists.
And I
the way-
think that that's flawed. I think black artists are black, and I think that that's the contradiction, because I hear so many black people be like, "Well, we created everything," and once you skew away from what's now popular,
So
it becomes like, "Oh, well, that's not black."
Would you have thrown a Nina Simone in that category? Because she was overseas and she is non-traditional. Like, she was more classical.
That's so
It's very traditional?
If you black and you're producing art, it's black art. Like, it's not like was making like music for anybody else besides black people.
I think the framing, though, is around that American audiences often don't accept a lot of the artists that we mentioned.
We talking about black American audiences or in general?
Generally.
Well, you know.
Mainstream.
And a lot of times those same artists have gone to Europe.
What you force feed them.
Right, and found a lot of success.
Accurate.
Because in Europe, people have been a little bit more open-minded to some shit.
I just feel like for me,
Yeah.
it's a lot of different variables that contributes to this. We have to keep in mind, it's hard to win black people over.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm trying to say? It's very hard, but once you have them, you have them. Beyonce, she got niggas. She got them.
Right.
She got them. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
It's very hard. We are very fierce because all black people are creatives. All black people are talented. You get up on the table like, oh, I sing or I rap. It's like, well, my cousin and them rap too. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's a harder sell. We have to also keep in mind as black creatives, we're going to go where the money is.
Yes.
So I don't think that deters from them being, you know, alt or like different. I just feel like bitches have bills to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and if you can go over to a country that appreciates you and is going to pay you, do it. I've done it many a times. And I've also done shows in Detroit, which is like, you know, it just depends, you know. You go where you're accepted.
Yeah.
Do you think any of that was at play? I know that your first tour was in Australia.
Oh, she did. She definitely did hers.
Do you think?
I had to look. I was like,
Down Under.
Okay.
like, was it?
I was like, remind me what year was it
I'll
again?
show you.
It was your senior year of college at Montclair
Oh,
State.
okay.
You better
so
go
she
off.
read.
Yeah.
She must have read the Tumblr. Yes, it definitely was, honey. I remember when they booked me. They booked me because someone
sneaky
dropped out of a tour, and I was at Westgate, R.I.P. Westgate Club in New York, waiting for a Little Kim concert, and they hit my phone, honey, and they said, "We need you on a flight to Australia." I said, "Where's the money?" They said, "We have the money." I said, "When do you need me?" They said, "Tomorrow." I grabbed my girlfriend. I said, "We need to go back to Jersey, honey." And yes, I was on that flight.
I know that's right.
Okay.
So yeah, what was the question?
The question was, like, I know that was your first tour,
Yeah.
but do you think that opportunity came about because, like, there was more of an appetite for the music that you were creating there?
I think what we have to keep in mind is the whole world kind of watches America, and the whole world kind of watches black people in general. So a lot of things that we are kind of like spoiled to, like I just said, like, oh, you make music, so do my cousin them. Like, you know what I'm saying? The rest of the world is gagging on the creativity of black people. Like, they're just like, oh,
Absolutely.
like, you know what I'm saying? Look at how these K-pop girls act. Like, you know, they copy, they imitate. So yeah, that's why these opportunities come where they want the realness. They fly your ass out because they want to see it. It does kind of, I could see how it could be problematic because, you know, you never want to be caught up in a dance nigger dance scenario. But at the same time, you also don't want to be that girl that when keeping it real goes too wrong. And it's like, well, damn, I can't pay my rent. So that's the double-edged sword, and that's the you know, the tightrope we have to walk. Yeah, I ate that.
Okay, bitch.
Right. Podcast coming soon.
So Cakes, we talked about, like, the story goes, you kind of stumbled upon this career and it was not intentional, but you've gotten into it and you decided to stick with it. What inspires you today? Like, what keeps you going in this industry, and what allows you to just keep being creative?
Because I'm a creative person, that's what kind of keeps me there. The money is good, but when I started making music, there was no money. You know, there wasn't any possibilities for a lot of the things that I've achieved, and especially how with the legacy continues with new artists like Lil Nas X and Brockhampton and all these new girls, honey. Like, it's like a full-on, like, conversation that just keeps getting better and better. So for me, what keeps me going is, you know, the breath in my lungs and the fact that, you know, the old bitch still got something to say, honey. And she's good at it, allegedly. The gigs is coming back.
I'm okay.
Okay.
Listen,
The world is opening. The people are calling.
Yes, honey, don't gag.
I'm enjoying it, and I'm not just saying that because you're sitting in this room. It's fun to listen to.
Thanks.
Yeah, and you have a good voice.
Yeah, I make it just for bottoms.
Ooh.
Just for my community.
See, that's what I interpreted.
Now she want to speak up.
Yeah, here she goes.
I wasn't going to say it.
Okay, thank you.
You wasn't gonna say it first. Well,
Here
now
we
you
go.
said it.
Yeah.
Now it's
Cat's
on the,
out the bag.
It's on the audio record.
Oh my goodness. so Cakes, though, speaking of like your work, people want a legacy. People want to be remembered for something. People, like, when you think about, you spoke about Beyonce and stuff, and those, like, there's something that they want to have said when they're no longer here. And I want to know, kind of a twofold question, a little bit about, like, what do you want your art to represent? But also, one day when you actually are an old bitch, like, what do you want your legacy to be?
You mean like today? Well, I definitely want overall my legacy to be, resilience. I want to be someone that didn't give a fuck, did what they wanted to do, and put quality into what I do. But I'm also the type of bitch where I'm like, I want my flowers now. Like, please do not honor me at the logo award, after the fact, given woe is me. Like, show up now. And, to speak on some of the points you guys were talking about, I think we as queer, gay, whatever the fuck you identify as, we need to put a lot of those gay dollars into these acts while they are alive. Because, a lot of the times we lose a lot of people and it becomes like a missing moment. But I'm like, we need to show up and show out for people while they're still breathing. And also, another point you was talking about with the female rappers, because I wrote a post about this, it's the Barbie doll effect. That's why people want to worship all these females. It's like, you as a little gay man, your mama told you couldn't play with Barbie dolls. Now you got all these girl rappers. Now you got a girl that you can style, dress, and do all this shit. But that's another day for my podcast. We'll talk about that.
I live for that. Listen,
Jordan can be a guest on your
I
podcast.
could definitely talk about the Barbie.
We'll talk.
Well, you know what? I mean, you guys are different Libras, but the energy feels right in this room. I feel like we can sit here.
We're finally balanced now.
We found some balance.
Thank God.
You know what? But this has been lovely. And to kind of end things off, we know that you have a lot coming down the pipeline. There's Moby Fest coming up. There's stuff like that.
Yeah, honey, work.
So can you just let the people know, like, where they can find out more about you and just some stuff that's coming up where we can be on the lookout?
Yeah, she can hit me up anywhere online. Twitter, Instagram, no longer on Hinge, but it's all under Cakes Da Killa. And she don't do the apps no more, baby. So, you got to hit me up, DMs.
Yeah.
On the social
You
media.
respond to that?
Those are better.
Yeah, it could be money,
Okay.
I'll open it. I don't always respond. But I don't like keeping messages, in the inbox. So hit me up. We'll talk.
Absolutely. Well, from Damon, myself, and Jordan, we really appreciate you for taking the time to come on our itty bitty baby platform that's growing into something and blossoming and telling your story and sharing that with us. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank
The
you.
3 blind mice, honey.
Oh, okay. Oh my God! If only you knew
What that means for us.
Well, the cat is back, honey.
All right, everybody. So that's all the time we have this week. Let us know if you have any questions or comments on our Instagram page at Surface Level Podcast or on our official website at surfacelevelpodcast.com. You can watch our responses in our new video series, Surface Level Sound Off, on Instagram and YouTube. If you enjoyed this show, please rate, review, and subscribe. And remember, stay curious.